cameras, sometimes I thank God for them, and then I don't even know why they exist. I enjoy the moments where the grandchildren are being birthed and the holidays for the most part, and capturing, the kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade pictures throughout high school. But when a young woman is caught leaving her car one night in August, not quite sure of the date, to be caught on film executing another woman in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, where a 42-year-old woman named Delia was murdered. So here we have it on November 9th. A Crown Heights, Brooklyn, WABC reporting that another 42-year-old woman was arrested Monday in Florida in connection to the execution-style murder of Delia Johnson in Brooklyn. Johnson, 42, was standing on the street in August when the suspect casually walked up behind her and shot her in the head. Now, I'm not going to be too graphic here, and neither are the news clips that I'm going to be using. But reports go on to say the brazen murder was captured on surveillance. And this is where sometimes I thank God, and then sometimes I wish they didn't even exist, because that was too graphic to show in its entirety. But police released it in hopes that it would lead to an arrest.
Here in
It was Jennifer and Bruce, and it's very difficult to watch that video. Now, police have not officially released the suspected shooter's name, but we did hear from the commissioner of the NYPD. He wrote out on social media, he tweeted, "You can run, but the long arm of the law will find you." We want to show this to our viewers. Once again, it is difficult to watch. This video shows a woman casually walking around a car. She has a purse around one arm, and behind her back, she has a gun in her hand. Now, we are freezing it as she walks up to a woman wearing pink and points a gun at the back of her head. Now, moments after that shooting, the woman walks back to a car, gets inside, and then speeds off. The shooting happened in Brooklyn. This was in early August, just blocks from the unsuspecting victim's apartment. Now, that victim is Delia Johnson. We are told she was a single mother with a 17-year-old daughter. Her family says she had no enemies that they know of.
Her community loves her, and that's real. Delia didn't care if you was down on your luck and was hungry. She would feed you. She would give you the clothes right over her back, right there, and then no matter where he was, if he needed something, she would give it to you. You don't deserve that.
And family members say Johnson was lured to the spot where she was killed. She had been at a funeral earlier that day. They believe the suspected shooter was also there. We've also learned that Delia Johnson's 17-year-old daughter would have soon graduated, or is close to graduating, and is planning to join the military. Again, police have not officially released the shooter's name, only that she was taken into custody here in Jacksonville. We will follow this and bring you the very latest developments. Live this morning, Ashley Harding, Channel 4, the local station.
So you have this woman, and I'll share the woman's name with you eventually. You have this woman getting out of a white vehicle, y'all, an SUV of some sort, walking past a few people, extending her right arm with her pocketbook on her left shoulder, and pointing a gun at the side and back of this woman's head. Delia standing inside of, she has a pretty pink dress on. Now, reports are going to go on to say, not so much in this report, I'm delving off a little bit, that they were at a funeral together. Did something pop off at that funeral? And if it did, I'm sure, unless you the devil, nothing is going to draw you to want to murder somebody on the streets with other people there witnessing it. For the love of God. And the truck the lady looked like just rolled past my house. Damn, two of them back to back. She better keep that spirit down there in the Jacksonville, Florida prison where Claudia Banton was arrested. I'm in the jail because she ain't in prison yet. And she is awaiting extradition to New York. So she's coming back up here to New York. Alright, now guys, hopefully we're still recording and we got all of this. Yes. Alright, family. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you watch the news clips, and let me just say this about the funeral. Let me just say this first. Basically, they said she was lured to the place where she was. That means somebody close to the assailant knew her, got her to go to a place where the person could come and assault her and eventually take her life. Well, she was lured there, but they were at a funeral earlier. This person, was it a guy? Was they dating the same guy? Was their words spewed at the funeral? So you guys let me know what you think about this whole entire situation so far, and I will be back with the rest of my commentary, alright? Thank you, and God bless.
The video is chilling. A woman is seen murdering another woman, execution style, in New York City. Now, just hours ago, that accused killer was in a Jacksonville courtroom. More than 1,000 miles away from the scene of that crime, Claudia Banton was captured here on Main Street, north of the Trout River Bridge.
U.S. Marshals got information that she might be somewhere here in our area. She's arrested during a traffic stop. This News reporter Ann Maxwell was just in the courtroom and joins us live. Ann.
Banton is in the Duval County Jail awaiting extradition to New York. She's charged in the murder of Delia Johnson, who was shot on a crowded street in Brooklyn, New York back in August, and the whole thing was captured on surveillance. They want to warn you, this might be tough to watch. A woman identified by U.S. Marshals as Claudia Banton walked casually out of a car on an August night in Brooklyn, her hand behind her back. She's seen approaching this woman in a pink dress and pulling out a gun, shooting her in the head. The victim has been identified as Delia Johnson. Johnson was a single mother of a 17-year-old girl.
This was senseless.
Johnson's family described her as generous and loving.
She would give you the clothes right over her back, right there and then, no matter where he was, if you needed something, she would give it to you.
The surveillance video shows the shooter walked back to the car after pulling the trigger and drove away. The victim's family said she had no enemies they knew of and was lured to this spot just a few blocks away from her apartment. Witnesses said Johnson and Banton had been at the same funeral earlier that day. A spokesperson with the U.S. Marshals told News4Jax they got information Banton might be in Jacksonville. They put surveillance on her and reportedly saw her get into a car. They then pulled over that car here on North Main Street. Banton was in the passenger seat and taken into custody. She had an initial court appearance this afternoon.
You want to go ahead and return to New York. Loaded by a car in the state of New York, you're now going to be picked up.
And a spokesperson with the U.S. Marshals tells me the driver who was in the car with Banton when they were pulled over was not arrested. Live in Jacksonville, Ann Maxwell, Channel 4, the local station.
Alright, Ann Maxwell, thank you for your coverage, and I will take it from here, live in Albany, New York, reporting on Claudia Banton and... Wait, what's her name? Is her name Claudia? Miss Banton. You know the lady that took the woman's life down in Brooklyn, New York back in August? They both was at a funeral. Something popped off at that funeral. This woman who lost her life was lured to the place where this Miss Banton, I do know her last name is Banton, was able to apprehend her, walk up on her with a gun, and shoot her in the back of the head. Now, let me tell you something. Shout out to my friend Pete on Facebook. I'll try to get the clip and insert it here. But he said the other day, people don't seem to value life anymore. And for the love of God, it's the truth, people. I don't give a dang who you are, what you do, what happens or go down. There's no spirit in me that want to take my life, your life, or anybody else's life. Now, y'all saw how that woman was looking? If not, I'll remind you here. in her arrest photo? Is that the look she had on her face when she walked past that crowd and shot that woman in the head? There ain't no reason to feeling sorry now. And I'm going to insert some clips here. Y'all go ahead and check out what these people had to say about it down in the comments over there on the news channel's platform that I borrowed this information from. Check this out, and I'll be back with the rest of my commentary. Alright, so I'm back. And it's weird, y'all. This shit is crazy to me. There's no reason to take anybody's life. There's no reason to be out here jealous of anybody. If it's over a man, and I'll try to do a little research and try to go and see whose funeral maybe it was, and I'm not even that invested. All I know that there is nothing in this world that should make you want to take another person's life. But yet the spirit of death is all around us, right? It's here, it's prevalent. And I told you, people here in America, it's sick that America thrives off of this. America is pushing everything on you through this pandemic, but the alleged Jesus who can fix everything and save everything. Why isn't the American government and anybody else pushing off this religion on people instead of the vaccination? Because neither one of them really can do anything for you. The vaccination can't stop this woman from going out to murder somebody or giving somebody COVID. And damn sure Jesus haven't been able to get into the people's minds and spirits and souls and bodies to prevent them from hell. Forget murder, cheating on their wives, molesting children in church, robbing the people, deceiving the people, killing, stealing, and destroying the people. And now back to murdering the people. But there is something you can do that can help you not to pull the trigger on another human being, not to assault another human being, not to want to see harm done to another human being. And that's to purpose it in your heart. You're not going to be the one to do it. That's what needs to be pushed. Self-control, self-discipline, self-esteem. Because this show don't look like this young lady has any in this arrest photo, does it? Now, with that being said, y'all go ahead and let me know what you think about this crazy situation. It just happened to come down my timeline. And I told y'all, my spiritual ears stay ringing. There's no need, man. Before you pull the trigger on anybody, whether it's a physical gun or an act of violence thereof in any way, even manipulation and deception, think twice. Because the same hand you pull that gun with, it has a thumb cocked, has that trigger finger, and it has 3 fingers pointing at you. So pull the gun on your own self and take your own life. Because that's exactly what happens to people when they take another life. There was never any life in them. And if there was life in them, then a demon done got up in them before they pulled their trigger or caused the assault or the offense or the violence against somebody thereafter, okay? So, y'all can go ahead and play with this all y'all want to. But I'm telling you, the Spirit of the Most High God, He ain't nothing to play with. And I do know the word of God is what's keeping me from ever wanting to pull a trigger or hurt somebody. Now, I'm not going to be no punk and let you hurt me, but I'll never lure you or anyone else to a spot where they can take your life, or I myself take your life. And you shouldn't do it either. What God has for you is for you, and what's for other people is for other people. And apparently this lady Delia had made a name for herself. She's on the cover of magazines. Her name is published throughout her community. And if these two women are from Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and know of each other, I don't know if they're related or not, I doubt it, but they would have history, good or bad, with one another, to end up at a funeral together. And again, whatever happened at that funeral could have systemically ran through the veins of this woman for her to end up having this woman lured to the spot on that Brooklyn street back in August to have it be caught on surveillance camera, CCTV or whatever, for the world to see how this woman lost her life. That part I don't like about cameras. That part I really don't like about cameras. I remember there was a time if you weren't at 1,000, you couldn't go live on your phone on YouTube because they were putting out all these violent murders and things of that nature. Now all you see on YouTube is the Travis Scott dead body murders being carried out. You're seeing this on you. There's so much death on YouTube right now. And I wonder who pulled the trigger on it for it to be so. I'm done, y'all. Have a great day. God bless you. And thank you so much for watching my video. If you're new here, please subscribe, like, share, comment, and all that good stuff. And I'll try to keep you guys posted with some of this because it is demonic and it does make my spiritual ears stay. And I'm out of here. Shalom, y'all. Peace.
Surveillance video captured a woman casually walk up to Johnson, firing shots at point-blank range before getting back in a white SUV and driving off. Johnson was struck in the head and leg. Johnson's family doesn't understand why anyone would want to harm her.
Affectionate smile, always happy. When I feel like at my worst, this girl would get me up. I'd be like, pull it together. She was everything, trust me.
This incident adds to gripping communities across the city. Police have reassigned officers to hotspot neighborhoods, confiscated more guns, and initiated gang takedowns in hopes of curbing the violent trend.
Public safety is a shared responsibility, so the police, we can't do it without your help. So with any information, please contact us.
In Corona, Queens, where brazen gunmen opened fire last week, injuring 10 people, mostly innocent bystanders, renewed calls for more information from the community as law enforcement joined advocates for a peace march. Organizations like Street Corner Resources are called to address the trauma left behind.
They're looking around, wondering if, somebody's going to come back to shoot. They're taking their kids and cowering over them, different than being comfortable to walk to the store right down the block.
Makeshift memorials like the one for Delia Johnson only share a glimpse of the pain and anguish. The community is a process of saying goodbye. Johnson's family believes she was lured to the location where she was killed just a few blocks from her home. They also say that